All right, so for nail school, check this out. I have some glitter mixes, right? And so for those of you guys who bought glitter, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start off with speed clear, and I need to make sure that if we're mixing it with acrylic, we're doing the right color combination. So I'm going to pour in, as you can see, the right amount. And the right amount is exactly this much right here. I need to fill it up to about that ledge. Right, so some of you guys who got the empty mixing jars, the larger ones, it's going to be the same thing if you're going to be mixing a lot of glitter. You want to bring it to about right there. All right, so we're going to start off with Fuchsia, okay? And what I want to be able to do is I need to pour in the right amount. So what we can do, instead of just pouring it directly into the surface, I could take the mixing tray and I'm just going to mix in, again, a nice healthy amount of Fuchsia. Let's go with Pinkie. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of punk rock, just a dash of it, and some star sand. All right, so this is also a great way for you to be able to get your glitter into your tray without spilling it all over the place. So what I'm just going to do, as you can see, is I'm going to mix this. I'm just going to try to get everything in as high as I can without spilling it all over. Okay, so for those of you guys that got these trays, this is an awesome way for you to be able to dispense your glitter, right, without basically creating a mess. Now, what I want to be able to do is I'm going to fill it up. So you can see I have quite a bit of space. I think I'm just going to pour in the rest of the glitter just to make sure that we have enough. Okay. And now I'm going to actually take this cap. And then what we want to be able to do is I'm not going to stir it. I just want to roll it inside my hands. You just do that really, really fast, so that you guys can see. So I'm just basically taking this and rolling it in my hand, cupping my hands and just spinning it like this. And then what you're going to see is it mix really, really well. And we're gonna have ourselves an awesome glitter mix. Okay, so what it's going to look like, I'll show you guys. If I'm using this with straight monomer, then we are going to be able to create that. Looks dope, right? And so how do we apply that to our color combinations? How do we apply that to our designs? Well, there's many different ways. And again, right, the easiest way to mix is by starting off with speed clear, taking your glitters, mixing it into the mix tray, and then dispensing it inside. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start off with a blank. I'm gonna start off with a blank palette. We're gonna go through the process of preparation, application, and finishing. I always want to be able to go through everything thoroughly so that you understand. I'm not just gonna rush into doing nails. You have to know everything so that you have a really good understanding of what we do from beginning to the final process. We're always going to begin by pushing the cuticles back, and then I'm going to use my electric file. So for those of you guys that got an electric file, you're gonna notice that there's two arrows that are pointing to each other. I need to twist it till it clicks. This is going to come out. I'm going to switch it to an arbor band, right? A mandrel with an arbor band, right? This is the sanding band. I'm gonna re-click it till it basically lines up, and this is locked in. Now you're going to notice I'm gonna turn the speed to 3,000 RPMs. And because I'm right-handed, I'm working in forward. So I'm gonna turn the motor on, boom. All right, you're gonna see this rotate real gently. Okay, now what we wanna be able to do is we wanna be able to gently remove shine around the perimeter of the nail. So I need to, again, lightly tickle all the way around. And notice when I'm going around, I'm really focusing on this part of the barrel, not the edge, this part. The amount of pressure I'm using is though I'm tickling the inside of my wrist. I'm not going aggro, right? Even if I put a lot of pressure, right? this is a very tender spot. I don't need to do that. It'll slow the bit down, right? It's slow enough where it's going to stop. But the, the motor and the handpiece will keep it accelerating. And you're gonna notice as I am feathering away the shine, I'm using a tickling motion, okay? Tickling motion to feather away the shine from corner to corner. Sorry, bouncing on the table, okay? What we want to be able to do is gently remove shine from corner to corner. And what I mean by corner to corner, corner to corner. I'm not going over the top like this. Once we're done removing shine, I'm going to take swipe and we are going to cleanse the surface of the nail bed. This is going to clean all the oils and contaminants and dust from the surface of the nail. And then this is going to leave us with protein bond. Right, so I have my tray, as you guys can see, set up where I don't have, you know, the nice thing about this tray is I can move this to the side. I can just put this right here. One of the things I like to do, especially with protein bonds, so for those of you guys that got this, I'll just spin this out, and that way I don't have to worry about it tipping over, right, and spilling. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a nice even coat and I'm going to apply from cuticle to free edge, right? That way we have a nice, and notice the balance of my fingers. This is really important when you're working. You wanna be able to balance so that you don't shake while you work. I'm going to apply from cuticle to free edge and we're gonna apply 2 coats. All right, so that's done, okay? Now, what we wanna be able to do, I'm just gonna make sure that we have a clean surface to work with. We need to build a beautiful free edge, okay? So I'm going to take a nail form. I'm going to place this on the bottom. I'm going to pre-pinch the tip. We're gonna build a stiletto nail today. And you're gonna notice on the bottom, I'm going to pre-pinch the tip. We're gonna build a stiletto nail today. And you're gonna notice that I'm gonna pinch this all the way to a point. Now, this is like a handle, which is great. I'm gonna open this up and you're gonna see I have wings, right? So these wings are going to be great. You're gonna notice from this side that I have a great C curve. Now, for those of you that are struggling, I'm trying to get it tight to the underside right here. So if I was to take this magic wand and place it right where I'm setting it, if I'm lifting this up, I'm trying to get it flush to this point right here. I'm not concerned about the corners. I need to get it flush right here. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to come underneath and then see my hand here. I'm going to lift this up so that it becomes straight. So if you're looking at it from the side profile, I wanna show you something. If you're looking at it from the side profile, if I come into the finger just like this, you see how it's hanging down, right? You're gonna notice if I was to use one hand and my finger, my middle finger here, look at this. If I just literally, all I'm doing is using my finger to lift this up, you're gonna notice that it's touching the front end of the free edge. That is your guide to ensure that you have it basically attached with no problems at all. Okay, so again, I need to make sure that we have it underneath, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my finger and I'm gonna lift it up, lift it up, lift it up until it's dead straight. So when you're looking at it from the side profile, right, you're going to notice that my side walls are going to be, look at that, I'm going to be able to get it razor sharp straight all the way to the tip from the end of the growth channel all the way out to this point right here. I don't have it hanging down. I need to make sure that it's going to be dead straight. That's really important, from the end of the growth channel all the way out to this point. So let's go ahead and take our mix. All right, so what I'm going to do, I need to make sure that we're going to pick up a bead that's going to be, again, easy to work with. So the first thing I do when I'm building a free edge, I don't want it to run all over the place. I do want it to move down towards this tip. So I'm gonna submerge my brush. Let me try to get this all inside the frame so that you can see. I'm gonna submerge my brush. I'm going to lightly tap. I'm going to pull down and then bounce inside the powder. Now, what I wanna be able to see, it's on one side of the brush. Watch this. I'm going to remove the excess from the back end of the brush. Take a look at my hands. Look at this. Do you see how I'm connecting my finger? That way, when I set it to the form, I don't shake. Look at this, I could release. Okay, now from the top of the bead, I need to walk it from the top of the bead to the corner and get that tight. Now again, here, walk it down from the top of the bead. And look, this top end, I need to get that. I'm not sliding everything to the corner. I'm walking it from the top. Now, once I have it even, this is where I'm going to use the body of the brush and I'm going to stretch it all the way to the end of the form in perfect shape. I can continue to manipulate the shape of the free edge basically from the top of the bead, okay? Don't make the mistake of sliding it like as it works down, trying to slide it from the side all the way to the corner. That's never going to work. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our growth channels, the end of the growth channel, absolutely even all the way to the end of the form, okay? And notice how flush this is. I don't have a massive buildup on the end. Okay, so once you actually have that set, what we could do is we could kind of create a fade. So I'm gonna submerge my brush. Like I need a small amount. Okay, if I have a lot of liquid on my brush to pick up a lot of powder on my brush, I don't need this much powder for this area. What I need to do is submerge my brush and try to pull off as much monomer as I can. That way, when I just touch, I'm going to get this really, really small bead on this part. Now watch this. In between the natural nail and the free edge, I'm going to set that down. I'm literally going to lightly walk it from side to side just to kind of mask the natural nail. I'm gonna turn my brush backwards and I'm lightly going to pull it just that really gentle amount into the body so that it looks like I'm creating a natural ombre. You see that? We want it to look like it's fading into the body. We don't want it to look like I just built this monster thick Lego on the end of the nail. And for those of you guys that are learning to work with acrylic, you have to remember that in the beginning, you're trying to get used to consistency. It's hard to, and what I mean by that is this. I'll just put this to the side for a second. Like if you have your form, and then for those of you guys that are really learning to kind of build acrylic, what you can practice, you can take a form just like this and then pinch the back end, right? So there you go. You have like this little handle that you're gonna work off of, okay? So if you're trying to build a free edge, all I'm trying to do is create something nice and thin. You're gonna see that triangle, right? I need to match it so that it's going to be able to I need to create a thin structure that's gonna match the shape of this perfect, basically free edge, this really nice, basically stiletto free edge, okay? If you took a lot of product and you literally go, oh great, I'm gonna pick this up, and then you didn't drain it and you set it down and wash it, you see how it's stuck to my brush? Now watch this. Oh my gosh, dude, this is uncontrollable. You're going to literally want to give up. It looks like someone blew their nose on the end of the form and you're left trying to salvage, right, the mess that is created from basically poor consistency. So how to control that, right? For those of you guys, again, that have the opportunity to practice, pre-pinch this, pre-pinch the back end, kind of pucker that. Boom, right? I have that. Now watch this. Look at the control that I have now. If I submerge my brush and I'm able to successfully pick it up on one side of my brush and I drain it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. right? And then watch, I turn it over and I slightly, and again, I'm being really meticulous about me pressing this off. It doesn't do anything, it just sits there. And I'm going to be able to maneuver it. Look at this. So as it starts to move, watch this. If I slide this back up, you see this top part right here? I'm gonna walk it from the top of the bead. You see how I'm able to get it into that corner? Now, right here, like see that top corner? I'm walking from this top of the bead, I'm walking it from the top of the bead to the corner. So the rest of the product I can stretch, I can lightly pull, I can manipulate this all the way to the end. For those of you guys who can build a really nice tip on the end of a flimsy form, look at this. This is gonna be really good practice for you, because what you're gonna get used to is the right amount of pressure to work with, so that when you get to this, it becomes easy, right? Simple drill, right? This drill is really great to work with. If you can sculpt it on this without it getting away from you, without you losing control, then you're going to be in a really good position to be able to build it nice and tight from side to side. Okay, so this is actually starting to dry, which is great. For those of you guys that have wide nails, if you decided that you wanted to take your magic wand and pinch it right here, what it'll do is it'll put pressure on the end of your natural nail, and what this is going to do is create a really nice C curve and give it a lot of strength, so that when you're building it out, you don't have to worry about trying to reinforce this massive amount on the back end. Okay, now, what we're going to do, we're going to do our overlay. So this is really important, because I love focusing on this. For those of you guys that join me, on all of the content, for those of you guys who join me on Twitch in the mornings, there's a lot of questions that are being asked on how to master the cuticle area. So one of the things you're going to notice, right? Look at this. So this is the nail I'm going to be able to work with. What I'm trying to accomplish, right, is I'm trying to accomplish, if this was the natural nail right here, okay? This was the natural nail. What I want to be able to do, right, we've built this free edge that goes all the way out to here, okay? What I need to be able to do is I need to be able to set a nice upper arch and then have it taper down all the way to the tip, right? All the way down to the very end of the tip. But this right here, this back end, is really important. The biggest mistake that a lot of beginners make when they're working with acrylic is they do this. First of all, they end up probably getting not enough liquid, like, because they're doing this. They're too busy going like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and a little swirl. And then what they do is they hold their brush in the powder like this. And then you're gonna notice that you have this nasty booger on the end of your brush. And then what they do is they try to push it like this. And then what you're left with is a pile of crap on the finger. Right? This right here is going to end up becoming an absolute nightmare of a situation. And you're gonna have to end up either soaking it off or filing it off. What we need to do is we need to create a self-leveling, right, condition. So if I'm working, right, if this is the back end of the cuticle area, and I set my bead down here, I need to create this, right? I need to create this really, again, self-leveling consistency so that I don't have ledges around the perimeter of the nail. How do I do that? Okay, well, what I need to do, and this is great because this is already starting to set, I love doing this. I'll usually build out all the nails and then I'll come in and I'll pinch this super tight, right? And that's gonna make that super basically straight. It's gonna make sure it's gonna be really pointed. Okay, I'm gonna take my brush. I need to get a big enough bead. I need to make sure, take a look at this. When I set this down, my brush is not like this. My brush is like this, Like notice the difference. I don't want it like this. I want it like this, flat. You notice my brush is flat to the surface. If I have connection, that tip of the brush, when I set it down, is going to create, right, that ramp, right? Take a look. If you're looking at it from the side profile, I want to show you. Look at this. If I set it down like this, do you see that ramp? Right? It creates a natural ramp with the finger pointed down and the brush in this position. So how do I do that? Okay. I need to make sure that I have enough product. I'm going to submerge my brush. I'm going to lightly tap. I'm going to pull down, bounce, bounce, bounce. Watch this. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 at 4. I'm going to release slowly, immediately with the tip of my brush. I'm going to walk around the perimeter. I'm going to control the run. I'm just holding it as it gets past the stress area from the corner and the front of the bead. I'm going to start pulling through. From the corner and the front of the bead, I'm going to start pulling through. As it starts to dry, you're going to notice that I'm going to be able to control the overlay all the way through. So you're going to notice immediately. Look at this. Take a look at that shape. Look at like what's happening is I'm able to get that shape. Do you see how it's rounded at the back end? It's going to be super tight around the whole entire perimeter, because when I set it down, I ensured that I had the consistency to move from this point to this point in the least amount of effort. It was a slow roll. I counted, I waited, counted to 4. Then once I got it tight around the perimeter, I didn't start brushing it forward. I pulled from the corner and the front of the bead so it tapers down into the free edge with absolute precision. Okay, now here's the thing, okay? We have to fill the rest of this space, right? And you're gonna notice, look how clear that is. For those of you guys that have speed clear, you know this, it is absolutely perfect. Glass-like. Okay, I need to lay that bead in between this bead here and the front end. So I'm gonna submerge my brush. I'm going to get myself a really, really healthy amount. I'm not gonna wait this time. I'm gonna set that bead in between, watch this, I'm gonna brush it back. All I'm going to do is hold it. All I'm going to do is hold it as it starts to move down towards the tip. And then as it gets close, I can start lightly feathering it from the front. And as you can see, I've completed the overlay, capping the glitter free edge all the way. You can also choose, once it starts to set, to kind of brush backwards to make it absolutely even from side to side. So you can see how I've controlled the overlay. You can see how I've created a really natural shape that's going to be extremely easy to file when I'm done. You're also going to notice that my growth channels are dead straight going out. I have a great upper arch. Everything tapers in the back end of the cuticle area. Everything tapers down perfect towards this area. It doesn't matter what nails you're creating, whether you're doing a coffin nail, whether you're doing a tapered kind of square pipe nail all the way through the end, right? This is the way that you apply acrylic so that you don't have issues with it being too thick on the sides. You're gonna notice from the top end. I just saw a comment below. I'm sorry that I'm not able to comment because I'm really focused on teaching. I do this weekly. And for those of you guys who tune in and you wanna learn how to do nails better than your competition, I will take you to that next level. Look, you guys, I've been doing this for almost 30 years, right? I've always told this to my students. For those of you out there that want to be, again, a celebrity nail artist, for those of you who want to be the next top nail artist, for those of you who want to be the next best educator, for those of you guys who want to be me, dude, you can do it. You can be better. You can do whatever you want. But in order for you to get to that level, you have to have the fundamentals, and I'm willing to share it with everybody. I have nothing to hide. I've been doing this way too long. right? And again, everything I have, all my resources, everything I have, I want to be able to show you and teach you so that I one day might be able to look onto you and say, my gosh, right? They have the right fundamentals to take it to the next level. I have thousands of students worldwide who have done that. And I promise, if you tune into the education, if you follow the fundamentals, if you learn the right fundamentals, you're on your way. All it's going to take is a really, really good work ethic. And you have to, again, and I tell this to all my students, it's about embracing the suck, because doing nails is not easy. It's about embracing the frustration. My job, our team's job, is to help you overcome those frustrations with proper technique. And if you understand how to do that, I'm telling you, your growth is just gonna keep on getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. I'm all about sharing all the knowledge I have, especially over the last 30 years, so that you guys really, for all of you out there that are learning to do nails, are going to be able to take your work to a completely different level. So you're gonna, once I have this off, right, you're going to notice, because the bottom is dry, right, I don't wanna start aggressively filing this into shape. I need to feel it. You're gonna be able to feel the surface. It feels like velvet. If I don't have a clicking sound, there in the back is dry, that is dull. See that? You can tell, dry, kind of dull. So it usually takes realistically, about 4 minutes before it's completely set. Usually by the end of your set, you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into filing. Okay, here's what it comes down to. When you're filing into shape, right, you have to remember that I don't want to swivel my file, okay? I need to keep it connected to the side all the way because I'm trying to create a really nice stiletto shape, okay? If I'm able to keep contact, again, see I'm holding my file like this. I don't want to hold it like this because it has a tendency to slip. If I hold my file like this and I keep contact, I'm able to take my index finger and put pressure into the side, right? So you're going to notice keeping contact, I'm able to build a straight ledge. On this side, I have my thumb. I'm able to hold it here, right? Just like this, right? I don't want to swivel it. I want to be able to keep contact all the way through, and I'm filing all the way up to the very, very edge. So you're going to notice, look at that straight ledge that I'm actually able to create. I'm not concerned about the very, very front as of moment. Okay, we'll go ahead and taper that into perfection. Okay, what I want to show you is really important. Don't make the mistake. I'm gonna just go ahead and put this tip on. Okay, this is a tip. This is a smile line that we did earlier. Right? Let's say you're building out the nails, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna file my sides. And then for those of you guys that are starting, what you do, you think that filing your sides is doing this. You're gonna know, again, right? I see a lot of beginners, what they do is they take their hand file and they start going like this. I'm just gonna get my sides straight, right? I'm gonna get my sides straight. They start hacking in the corner, and then what you're gonna notice is that you end up building a notch right here in the side, right? So that notch, what I'm talking about is this. You're gonna get a notch right here in the corner. Right? That's a problem. What you have to do is you have to adjust the hand to the side. So if I turn my hand to the side, right, you're gonna notice that my growth channel starts there, right? The end of the growth channel, right? So you're gonna see all that excess product hanging from the bottom. How you get it straight is by lining your file at the lowest point and filing up until it reaches that corner right there. So if I have contact and I file up and I keep contact with the whole lower arch, you're going to notice as I file up, what will eventually happen is my hand file will reach that corner and I'm going to build perfection from the end all the way to the tip. Perfect. Let's go ahead and turn the hand to the side. So again, you're seeing all this hang from the side. I need to hold it again, and I need to continue to file until my hand file reaches the corner. And look, if there's some excess at any point, don't try to mess with it. What I would do again is try to file as much as you can, and then as the structure starts getting thinner, it'll be a lot easier for you to shape it into perfection because we have a lot of bulk. This is actually quite a long nail right here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that my C curve, I'm looking down the barrel of the nail, everything is dead flat. You can see that I have a lot of C curve all the way to the end, but I know that everything is even because when I line my file, both my sidewalls line up perfectly from side to side. So we need to round off the top. Let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna take our electric file. We're gonna remove this. Let's go ahead and put on this, okay? So I'm gonna make sure we're putting on our safety bit. I need to keep a little bit of space. Let's go ahead and lock this up, okay? And the reason why I need to keep a little bit of space is so the nose doesn't hit the hand file or the enhancement while I'm working. I'm gonna turn this up to about 12,000 RPMs, right? And what we wanna be able to do, right? Again, this is not gonna cut you. As you can see, it's bald. I need to make sure that we are going to taper this into perfection. So if I build the nail well, how long will it take me to file this into perfection? Watch this. I'm gonna focus on my cuticle area to make sure it's tapered. I'm gonna file through the upper arch. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna have great shape right there. Done with that. I'm gonna look down the barrel of the nail. I'm gonna file in one direction. Please do not go like this. This leads to the bit slipping around. We wanna be able to file in one direction towards ourselves, right? So that we're going to be able to build this really beautiful, look how nice and round that is, all the way through the free edge. This way it's going to prevent you from slipping, but you're gonna be able to look down the barrel to make sure it's absolutely tight and perfect. When I'm going around the cuticle area, look at my positioning. My finger is here. I'm gonna go around the corner, taper, taper, taper. All I'm doing is removing bulk around the perimeter in one direction. And then I want to be able to follow through the whole entire surface. And as you can see, I am done. There's no reason for me to basically, you have to set yourself up so that when you're hand filing, you're not hand filing for 30 minutes. Okay, now I'm gonna take my hand file. I'm always, for all you beginners out there also, make sure you take the edges off of your hand file so that you do not cut your client, okay? I'm gonna focus on getting it tight around the perimeter. Watch this. Look at how many swipes. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at my cuticles. I just wanna show you something. Look at that. Dude, I have 0 ledge, meaning my finger doesn't get stuck. So if you apply it perfect, and you don't have to spend a ton of time around the perimeter of the nail, you're not gonna have lifting, right? So you're gonna notice that if I'm filing around the perimeter of the nail, I'm done. Now, I need to break this into 2 sections. I'm gonna hold my hand file like this. I'm gonna file down this section. Look at this, I'm filing, look at this, down this way, one direction, all the way down the side. All my file lines are going this way. Right? Now, the opposite side, I have my hand file like this, okay? You're going to notice contact going in, down. Don't pick at it this way. It's gonna be easier for you to use the full surface of the hand file if you go into the nail and let it fall. Into the nail, let it fall. And then you're gonna be able to move fast. You're gonna be able to move fast. So you can see it's very easy for me to divide this into 2 sections instead of trying to focus on really I see a lot of beginners doing this. What are you doing? Okay, so both sides, you need to make sure we're gonna get that razor sharp, and then I need to look down the barrel of the nail. I'm gonna make a peace sign rested in between the knuckles, and I'm just going to work it from side to side. There we go. That way, when you're looking down the barrel, look how pointed that is. Absolutely flawless around the edges. This is going to be, again, this is more of a show nail. There's not a lot of, the only ones who wear these nails are nail techs. All right, so take a look as I dust that off. Right, you're going to be able to see how you're going to be able to create something that's super pointed. I have great shape all the way through, perfect extension, great support, flawless application. Everything is going to be, again, set. Now, you're going to notice, like, one of the things I love to do is when we're applying top coat, one more thing. If you don't want your top coats to chip, take your protein bond, apply a nice coat around the perimeter of the nail, and then whatever's remaining, go ahead and put it through. Let's go ahead, and the reason why we do that is so that if there's any exposed natural nail, if for some reason you end up over-filing the edges, what this is going to do, it's going to anchor the top gel down. Okay, let's go ahead and apply finish gel to the surface. And you're going to, this is the no tack top coat. Boom. See? Dude. Boom. All right. All right. Welcome to nail school. For those of you guys who have joined me for the first time, this is how all the lessons are. Super thorough. I take my time, try to explain the best I can. If you guys have any questions, feel free, hit me up, right? G-Man Salo on Instagram. I'm always here to help. There's a team of people here to help. I love you guys much. I appreciate all the support and the love. I look forward to seeing you guys on Twitch tomorrow morning. Join us. For those of you guys who are not part of the Twitch community, please join us on Twitch. It's an amazing way for you guys to get familiar with us. We're communicating with you, working with you. This is a great opportunity for you to join the community and be part of something very special. I'm always here to help. I appreciate you guys taking your time and focusing on your skills to be better professionals for the future. Thank you guys. Love you much. Peace.
Subscribe channel now. Subscribe channel now. Subscribe channel.